Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to our weekly edition of Australian Immigration News. This show is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in the heart of Sydney. The Minister has been a busy bee this week with 6 media releases, so there's a few things to cover. This week it was Victoria's turn to open its sponsorship program for the 491 and 190 visas. The system is basically the same as last year using the ROI, the Registration of Interest system. If you have an existing ROI in place, then it can still be used. However, those wishing to have a chance for the 491 visa and you're in Australia, you must now be living in regional Victoria. This is really the only fundamental change from last financial year. Please check the state's website for detailed information on their requirements. 90,000 New Zealanders have quickly put in their Australian citizenship applications thanks to the changes on the 1st of July. The Immigration Minister Andrew Giles announced in his press release on Saturday, "But for too long, our closest friends, our closest cousins, people from New Zealand living in Australia have been denied a realistic pathway to Australian citizenship. Nearly 90,000 already have signed up. 3,500 have completed all the requirements." Our closest cousins? Really? It seems to be family members then get the record processing times, unlike the tens of thousands of other visa applicants waiting for years for their applications to be finalised. It seems to be all about politics. Soon the Albanese government will get 100,000 plus more votes for all the New Zealanders he has assisted, and maybe tens of thousands more from associated family members. You see, all of you poor PR and TR applicants waiting for years for some response from the Immigration Department, even an email would be nice saying, "Sorry, we haven't forgotten you." But because you don't vote, you don't count. It seems as we predicted, the union-muddling aged care labour agreement is off to a snail's pace, with only 5 of the 800 registered providers signing up for the deal. On ABC Breakfast Radio this week, the Immigration Minister was keen to defend the program and the involvement of the unions. Here's what Andrew Giles had to say in his response to Hamish McDonald's probing questions on the ABC Breakfast program.
We've been talking to the industry over the past 24 hours to try and get a handle on why so few have signed up. And there does seem to be a concern about the unions and the level of access that they would have to these employees to enter into the agreement. The provider has to sign a memorandum of understanding with the unions. Why do they have to do that?
Well, we're very concerned about ensuring that 2 things happen. One, that we attract workforce and high-quality workforce to ensure that our most vulnerable Australians get the care they need, but also to ensure that so many of the issues that we've seen in terms of the exploitation of migrant workers don't occur.
So there it is, straight from the horse's mouth. The Immigration Department has enrolled the unions in border force enforcement activities. They have been handed the power to make sure the aged care workers do not get exploited. This is what we all feared from the outset when we saw the details in that labour agreement. Is it a wonder that so few businesses have signed up?
Do you think it may be an impediment to those signing up?
Not at all, because this is about providing an assurance to the community that people who are coming here, particularly on temporary visas, have the protection so that they can go about their work focused on care, not worried about some of the awful instances of exploitation of migrant workers, people who have been exploited because of their visa status that we've heard so much about. Issues that the former government neglected despite commissioning a report into this 7 years ago.
I don't think any Australian wants migrant workers to be exploited under any circumstances. But do we really want a union body to act as a watchdog for the Department of Home Affairs? I don't think so. Now, you have all probably experienced the frustration of dealing with Australia's skill assessment processes, whether it's the length of time they take to get back to you or the unnecessary complications attached. Since skill assessments were first introduced many moons ago, I have seen them just get more and more complicated and hence slower in their service delivery. Well, now I can have my say and suggest what I feel needs reforming. And so can you. The Minister announced this week that all of us can put in our 2 bobs worth of what we think the system is like and how it can be improved. He said in a press release, The current skill assessment process is complex, costly and lengthy, with the completed migration review calling for actions to improve and streamline the recognition of overseas skills to help migrants enter the labour market at a level commensurate with their qualifications. However, there seems to be some confusion here about skill assessments and getting a job. In reality, the two have nothing to do with each other. In most cases, that skill assessment result is worthless. Most employers don't care about that you've passed your migration assessment, they just care about your education and experience and whether you can do the job. It makes you wonder why we need skill assessments at all. But I won't get started on that one, otherwise you'll be here all night. However, it's time to have your say by going to the government's website, which I'll leave a link in the description for you, and off you go. Well, in case you've missed all the headlines, overseas students are back in record numbers. But what we didn't know is how much money the country is making from their arrivals. This week in The Australian, it was reported that over a full year to June 2023, international students studying in Australia spent $36.7 billion. That's 77% higher than the same period a year earlier. The full year figure is not far short of the all-time highest value for annual education exports of $40.1 billion in 2019. Also reported for the first time was $1.4 billion for online study sector that never really existed before the pandemic. Now many of these students are expecting some chance of residency when they finish, so perhaps it's in the country's best interests to do so. Now, many of you will remember how I've been encouraging all the sponsors of partner visa applications who have been waiting such a long period of time for their loved ones' visas to be processed to go and complain to your local federal member of parliament. Well, one person I met recently has done more than just that. He has organised a protest rally to be held on the steps of the federal parliament house. That takes quite a bit of organising, with plans and permits required. And tonight we talk with Alex Lateef, who arranged all of this on his own. Sick of politicians who do nothing when you approach them for help. Hi Alex, well done for setting up this protest. But before we get into the details of what you've organised, tell us, how long have you been waiting for your wife's 309 partner visa?
Yeah, I've been waiting now. It's been 42 months.
That's an incredible amount of time to wait for your loved one, and so stressful too.
It's been very stressful, heartbreaking, physically, mentally stressed, and it's not fair. So she's overseas and I'm doing my best. We speak to your local MP, you speak to your senators. They say the department or the immigration minister will get back to you and get back to them. And they will relay the message back to me, and it's like getting nowhere with them. And I've tried 3 times for the tourist visa for a tourist visa for her to come out here, and they declined all 3 as well. So owing to petty reasons.
I'm sure many of our viewers are shaking their heads in agreement with you right now. So you've got the protest organised, and what's the date and time?
Yes, I've got it. It's on Tuesday the 17th of October. It's from 12 p.m. it starts. So 12 p.m. and it finishes at 4 p.m. I hope a lot of people turn up for the sake of their partners that are stuck overseas.
So what motivated you to take an extreme measure to protest?
And the reason why I'm doing this is because I feel that a lot of partners are getting disadvantaged. Let's put it in those terms.
A large part of that is the anxiety and stress of waiting, isn't it?
Mentally, stress, anxiety, and it's really hard for these people to live like that apart from each other physically. It's just inhuman, and this is the reason why I'm doing this protest, for myself and for other partners around the world.
And you're hoping for as many people as possible to come and join you to let the department know how they're feeling about these delays.
Really would like people to come down that are struggling, that have problems, and I want them to come down and say what they have to say. Let Let the world hear their voices. This is what I want. Now, the reason why I done it on a Tuesday is because I know there's going to be politicians down there in the Parliament House down there. So I found a way actually to get the politicians out and have their say, and let them listen to what the people have to say as well. So I want the politicians to hear that and hear it through speeches. So I'm telling everyone, please, everybody, come down for the sake of your partners, create speeches, create banners. It's a friendly protest. Please be at your best behaviour, and say what you have to say. You know, let's hear your emotions. Let's hear your stories, because it helps. It helps the people that are struggling overseas. You know, and the partners that are here as well. It helps. The more voices, the better. The louder we are, the better, in a friendly manner, but please. So Tuesday, the 17th of October, I want you to be there, please, from 11:45 a.m. That would be great if you can do that.
Now, Alex has also made a number of links for people who are interested in WhatsApp and Instagram and TikTok. I'll put a link to all of these in the description below, who are those who are able to help the protest out. And thanks, Alex, for doing such a great job in giving others who are suffering as well a platform where they can meet amongst other people and get support, and most of all, get their voices heard. For all of you who can spare the time, get out there and support this protest and the cause that Australian citizens and its permanent residents should be treated much better than they currently are. That's all for another week. Thanks so much for all of your comments and support as always. If you need help, we are always here. Book a consultation by visiting our booking page on the website, or just pick up the dog and bone. Make sure you don't miss out our weekly updates by subscribing and hitting that notification bell. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.